Hi, welcome back to my channel, All Things Veggie. Today I have a recipe. I was looking in my cupboards and seeing what I had, and lo and behold, I came across a can of spinach, and when I looked on the back of it, there was this really cool recipe. So I thought we could make it together. It doesn't take a lot of ingredients, and I have everything I need in my kitchen. It's cloudy here in Florida, but that's par for the course. Summer in Florida is usually like that. And it looks like we might have a storm, and I'm feeling like I want to do a recipe that is going to be healthy. It's going to be pretty easy. And I'm going to have leftovers for tomorrow for lunch or supper. So that's a good thing too. So let's get into the kitchen and let's start cooking. Alrighty. So here's my nifty can of spinach. So this recipe is called herb spinach pasta. And it sounds yummy, and I haven't had pasta for a while, so I kind of have a taste for that. So no, this can is not expired, so don't worry. It's not like it was from 3 years ago. It's a fresh can of spinach, and I recommend doing that. I know people use things past due dates, and I guess you can, but I don't know. I don't like the idea of it, but that's just me. I'm a bit neurotic, so that's just me. So anyways, what we have here, we've got our, calls for some onion, so I'm gonna mince that up. It calls for 1 medium pepper, and I got these little small ones, so I'm going to use, I really like peppers, and so I'm going to use 2 orange and a red. You can use any kind of bell pepper you want, and I like these little sweet peppers. I've got my can of spinach, I've got my Italian seasoning, I've got my box of rotini pasta. It says you can use spirals or whatever kind of pasta you want. I'm going to use this, and it's veggie rotini, so that's a good thing. Tricolor rotini. And I've got my Parmesan cheese, which is optional. Alrighty, now it did call for basil, but I have Italian seasoning, and that is what I'm going to use because I don't have a lot of individuals, but I find that, you know, Italian seasoning pretty much covers it all. Oh, and garlic. I do have garlic too. I'll have to get the garlic out. So first things first, and we're gonna mince our veggies. Alrighty. That's the first thing. Oh no, I'm humming again. All right, so I'm going to use maybe, this was a huge onion. So I'm going to use, I already used some of it, but I'm going to use just a nice big chunk of it. I think that'll be plenty. So how is your summer going? It's August already. I can't even believe it. And I'm looking forward to fall. I'm not going to lie. I really am. I love going shopping for fall decor. So that'll be something I'm going to do probably on my other channel. And I just discovered something. If you like movies, and I mean, I have Prime and I do pay for it, but I discovered Tubi. It's called Tubi, Tubi, and you can download the app, and all the movies are free. And I mean, they're totally free. Not just like, you know, a free 10 days or a free 30-day trial and then you're suckered into a subscription. It's totally free. And they have all these really cool, like, older movies, like The Goodbye Girl with Marsha Mason and Richard Dreyfuss, Hannah and Her Sisters. I just saw that one the other night. They have, like, movies that I have not seen anywhere else. So if you don't know about Tubi, I highly recommend it, you know, to watch some really, really good movies that maybe you haven't seen in a really long time. So let me know how your summer's going, and please remember to subscribe and hit the like button.
Thanks.
And isn't this cute? It's orange, but it's starting to turn green. Isn't that amazing? I don't know. I think nature is a wonderful thing. Ooh, we're having thunder boom booms here. Yes, we are. Glad I'm out of the shower. You never know when it's going to happen here in Florida. It just, you know, the sun can be out 1 minute and then it starts clouding over. Although it's been clouded over here today for a few hours and looking very, as my mother would say, threatening. You know, like something was coming. But you never know, because sometimes it'll pass right over and we won't get a thing. And then other times we get hit hard. You know, wind, hail sometimes. Although, thankfully, it's been other parts of Florida that have been getting the hail. Uh-oh. Power is flickering. I don't know. Can we cook this meal? Hopefully, yes. Okay. So we're doing okay. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. So there we go. We've got our peppers and onions. So I'm going to go over to the stove and let's look on that recipe label. Okay. Cook onion, garlic, and basil in oil in skillet until onion is tender. Add pepper strips. Cook 3 minutes. Stir in spinach. Heat through. Okay. All right, so I guess the first thing I'm going to do, I've got a pot of water back here. I'm going to cook the pasta first. So we'll do that. All right, I'm going to put this here. We're going to turn this on high. And I'm going to cook half the package because it says 6 ounces. This is 12 ounces. So 6 ounces sounds good. All righty, so we're going to do that. Okay, I am cooking the pasta. It's boiling. And it said to use half the package, 6 ounces of pasta. But I think I used more than that, but that's okay. So that's cooking up nicely. We've got the peppers and the onions all diced up. So we're going to get that going. So things are moving right along. Yes, they are. All right. So now I opened the can of spinach right here, and I have to drain it well. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now, is draining this spinach really well. Get all the water out of it. All right, so I do have a strainer. I think I'm going to use the strainer that I have. I love spinach, and it's so good for you. Okay, so I got my trusty little strainer here. So I'm going to empty the spinach in the strainer and get it nice, as much water out of it as I can. And there's so much water in it. I don't know if I should take a paper towel or maybe just take a spoon. Oh boy. Yep. A lot of water's coming out of that. Okay. I don't cook much with canned spinach, which is, I think, why it intrigued me so much. You know, usually if a recipe calls for spinach, I go for the fresh or usually the fresh, yeah. Sometimes frozen, but usually the fresh. Because the frozen tends to be like the canned, it tends to be kind of mushed up. So when I saw this recipe, I thought, wow, you know, maybe I'm missing out on canned spinach. I mean, again, I usually go for the fresh and for a specific recipe. But they must have had it on sale, which is why I bought a can of it. You know, I do impulse buys for sure when I'm at the grocery store. How about you? Do you do impulse buys when you're at the grocery store? You know, I was happy it was for a can of spinach because usually my impulse buys are for some fattening little treats that I really don't need, but that I really want. Like Little Debbie's or ice cream or... Oh, I know. Tell me what your weakness is. Maybe it's the National Enquirer at the at the checkout, or maybe it's, you know, certain cheeses or meats or cookies that you like. Let me know in the comments because, you know, I'm interested. All right, so I think I got this as drained as I can get it. So we're just going to sit this here. I got to get the olive oil out. It calls for olive oil, and I'm going to saute the veggies in olive oil. All right. I eyeball everything. I very rarely do I measure, but that's okay, right? Why not? Okay. So we got the olive oil in the pan. In go my veggies. I am going to put some Italian seasoning in because it calls for that. Oh, I got to get the garlic out too. What am I doing? I thought for sure I had some fresh garlic, but I don't. So luckily I've got jarlic. So that's what we're going to use today. All right. Stir. I'm getting a facial from and that's the, you know, I guess that's the downside of having like a smaller apartment, you know. I don't know. We've got a smaller stove, but we manage. I definitely manage fine, no problem. Getting a nice facial from from the pasta. And the pasta has about 4 minutes left, and that will be done. So when the peppers and the onions and the garlic and everything is pretty much sauteed and the onions are translucent, I'll be adding the spinach in. So you got a couple more minutes on that. Is it me, or whenever you have peppers and onions, you just can't go wrong? Add some garlic in there and I mean, I'm happy. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think it can be a bad recipe if you've got the peppers and onions and garlic. Pasta cooking nicely. And goes the spinach. I know, I've never done anything like this. This is something new for me, a new kind of recipe for sure. Maybe when you put the spinach in with the peppers and onions, the spinach will kind of dry out a little more. Maybe that's the theory here. So I'm going to keep stirring it. I tell you, it smells really good. Like I said, you can't go wrong with peppers and onions and garlic, right? You just can't go wrong. So I think my pasta is just about done, so we're going to drain that. In goes the pasta. I like the idea too that it's a one pan dish. That always appeals to me. I want to get it nice and mixed. Now I guess I was thinking of maybe adding a sauce to this, but it does not call for it. Maybe I'll just do it exactly as for a change of pace. Do a recipe exactly as it calls for. So it doesn't call for anything else except some Parmesan cheese, which I will be adding. I'm wondering if there's anything I need to add. Maybe a little salt and maybe some black pepper. I like a lot of pepper. I do. So the only other thing I can really I'm going to turn this off. The only other thing I can really think of is maybe a little olive oil, but it's not really calling for that either. So let's get some Parmesan cheese in there and I'll taste test it. So there's our finished product. What do you think? But I will taste it. Yes, I will. Alrighty. And I'm hungry. I have not eaten since breakfast. So let's plate it up. Oh, onion. Can't waste the onion. The bottom. Now I'm going to taste it. Here's my plate. I'm going to taste it and see like if something's missing or maybe it needs something. I'm going to get myself a fork. All right, here we go. Here we go. Try to get a little bit of everything on my fork. I've got the pasta, the spinach, the onion, and the pepper. Maybe a little more Parmesan cheese. This is good. I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised at this meal. And I've got a ton of this. Look at that. I've got enough for a while, for sure. And that was easy. I mean, I'm not going to say that was not easy. I think I do need a little more Parmesan. That was a good meal. And helping me make this veggie meal. And one more time, what is it called? It's on the back of the Del Monte, well, at least it was. Fresh cut leaf spinach, no salt added. I did add salt to the dish though. It's called herb spinach pasta. And it says prep time is like 5 minutes. Yeah, it is. So you got a can of spinach and some pasta and the other ingredients and you're looking for a quick meal. I think your whole family would like that. I really do. So thanks for helping me today. You guys are a help. You really are, because, you know, newsflash, I'm not the best cook in the world. But we are doing things veggie, and I think this is a winner. So take care. I will see you soon. And thank you for, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. And I will see you soon. Alrighty. Take care. Bye.